What's happening, guys? I hope we're doing good and alright. Today I'll do an episode about, this is kind of a tricky one, I think I want to say, but it's about what to do when things get really hard. And I know I've done parts of explaining this in the past, but I want to go in a bit more detail and give a bit more real life example, because I know as dyslexics, or people who struggle to fit in, people who struggle to be the norm, as it were, there's a hell lot more we have to face. There's a hell of a lot more we have to deal with. And ultimately it's a lot more harder, especially at times. It can seem so much more harder and so much more unfair. And today I just want to talk about, okay, what does that mean? And what can you make it mean in your life? Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I'll see you there after the intro thing. So the big question is this: how can dyslexics like us create a place, a community, a tribe where people at any stage of life can come and solve any challenge, amplify their strengths, and ultimately help them become who they were meant to be? Or in other words, conquer their dyslexia. That is the question, and this show is the answer. My name's Theo Goff, and welcome to the Conquering Dyslexia podcast. Hey guys, so what to do when things get hard? Now, the reason why I want to say this, now I'm in the middle of doing the dyslexia confidence thing I'm very, very excited about, but I think it's a bit more appropriate at this time, just in my own life, because I feel it's really valuable when I hear people talk about what's going on in their life at the very moment, rather than them talking about something that they've already figured out and it's a tested model. I feel, especially in the podcast format, it offers so much value, so much raw value, that you take in the information so much more deeply. So what I want to talk about is basically when things get hard, and things get hard for so many reasons in our life. And for so many different things, they can come up and they can get hard and we don't have to deal with them. And our emotions are a massive part of it. Because the hard thing, because there's two sides of hard. There's the hard things that happen, oh, you're tired, or you're exhausted, or it's physically hard, or it's mentally draining. And then the other type of hard, when it's your emotions that take the hit. It's where we create a meaning of the situation. It's I failed the test. Obviously, the test was hard. Studying it was for hard. But when you fail it, you say to yourself, oh, I can't do it. I'm stupid. Why did I even try? Now, those stories you say are the most hard part of it. The most hard part, because it's the emotion that drives you. It's the emotion that makes you feel the pain. It's like having a breakup. It's the emotion that's the hard part, not the physicality of it. It's the emotion that you attach to it. That's the hard part. And it's our emotions that can screw us up in our life. It's the story we say to ourselves, our beliefs. Because having dyslexia is one thing. Not being able to operate and having a different, being neurodiverse is one thing. But the way you deal with it, the way it affects you emotionally, with your beliefs, with your values, is the real disability. Because I always say the worst thing about dyslexia isn't dyslexia itself. It's what you believe because of your dyslexia. And that's it. It's what you believe because of your dyslexia. And that's the thing that can really pull you down, and that can really hold you back and limit yourself. Now, so we know this. We want to build up on this foundation that it's not the act itself, it's not the situation itself, it's what we make it mean. It's what us humans make that mean for ourselves and the emotions behind it. Because if our friend goes, or when we leave our family, all this sort of stuff, what's actually happening in the physical world? Okay, we're moving from one place to another place. Or this person left and there's no physical harm done to us. The only harm is what is in our minds, is our emotions. And when I say in our minds, we can feel emotions in our heart and emotions in our gut and all these things. It's not intellectual. It's emotions. It's not like in the frontal cortex. It's more deep down in our brain, deep down in our heart, really, when we feel these such strong feelings. And it's part of human behavior. Now you say this, oh, great, Theo, you say this, but what does that mean I can do? Does that mean that I need to shut off all the emotions? Because it's good knowing this, but I can't do a lot about it. That's true. And you can't do a lot about it because one of the reasons is there's strategies to help you, deal with the emotions. And one thing that I'm doing, that I've always done, and now is why I'm doing this, is like, I've always worked out, but normally I work out to stay fit, to keep mentally active and all these other things. But now, like, I work out to push through, to make me stronger, to make me emotionally more stronger. Because now, as previously, I'm doing a little podcast in the house. And the reason I wasn't, because since I've been in Thailand, I've had this relationship for a couple of months. I don't like talking about things like that because it's personal to me, and it's sort of like, it doesn't have a lot to do with dyslexia, as it were. But the struggle is, because now that's ended, that's why I can do it here, is that dealing with that emotion, like living with a person for like a good while, and then having that breakdown and having that not work, and having like it ended something. Like physically nothing is wrong, but emotionally there's so much there. There's so much, pain is causing, and sort of like same things with dyslexia. I remember same feelings, feeling unconfident, feeling this, feeling that, and it can haunt you in a way. It can haunt you. It can always be on your mind. There's always the things that you think about. And you try and distract yourself, but ultimately it's always there. It always creeps back in. And the best thing to do is acknowledge it. But you've got to realise that human beings, we have emotions. We always have emotions. We're not going to get rid of them. And guess what? They're natural. They're completely natural. But there's a couple of things that we have to remember about ourselves. When we feel like when something bad happens to us and it affects us really negatively emotionally, we got to feel that it's not going to last. One thing, you're not going to last. You can go through hell, but it's not going to last. And I'll tell you a little story. This has happened years ago. The only reason, one of the biggest reasons I believe that I'm doing this dyslexia talk, and I've got this podcast, and I've written a book, and I want to help as many dyslexics as possible, and that's my mission, that's why I'm obsessed, is because of one thing. Not one thing, it's a combination of things. But one thing alone is like relationship. The first relationship I had, it was like a year long. And I was like, in very intense, very exciting, loads of ups and downs. There are like 3 official endings to it. And so it was very like, very emotional for me, because I think like, you could say this is due to dyslexia, but I can get very attached to certain people, and because like my personality, I don't like having a massive friend group. I like being close to a very few number of people, and that's just, I don't know, it could be my dyslexia, the way I brought up or anything like that, but when I'm really close to someone, anyway. But because when that ended was the same time when I really struggled with my confidence in school, and because I had no outlet. Because I enjoyed the relationship, I enjoyed school. Yes, I had boxing and stuff, but I didn't. I said my name was Alex there. People didn't know me as my normal name, and so there, because I was in such a down point, then I got introduced to Tony Robbins about being confident and like improving yourself and taking responsibility of your own life. And I got so obsessed with improving myself, but it was only because like. If I'm being honest with you, I would say the pain of not being in a relationship or that ending was worse than the pain of the confidence for like at that time. And because I was at such like a high, let's say, with the relationship, and that drove me down to this low part of my life, then that sparked the fire for something else. So if it wasn't in that low part of my life, then I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, excited every single day to go and add value, to go and give more, to create more, to grow as a person. That would have happened if I didn't have that massive negative downfall and have dyslexia and stuck with the things with dyslexia. So I always believe that everything in life happens for a reason, but I think it's our job to find the empower reason behind it. I think everything happens in life for a reason, and it's your job to go out and find it. And because of bad things happen to you and you're dealing with these negative emotions, that's fine. That's completely fine. Because guess what? It builds you stronger. The stronger we are as people, the stronger we're dealing with it, better dealing with it emotionally, Not as in burying it away, but facing it head on and being strong about it. And keep moving forward, not being harsh on yourself, not beating yourself up too much, saying, this is the path, this is the journey I'm going to go on, and I've got no other choice but to go on it. There's no point beating myself up. There's no point thinking I can quit or wanting it to not happen, because I'm here, I'm going down. Now, the only way to make the most out of it is to say that it's okay. It's to say that when these bad things happen, when like something happened to a test, or people make fun of me, or these things happen, yes, of course they hurt, but it is okay. The best we can do is try and learn from it and take one day at a time and keep moving forward on that. And when I say learning from it, we can either learn strategies to deal with it, either like working out, meditation, and so many other strategies to deal with like maybe your emotions, or to get past one negative experience, one negative like memory. There's so many strategies to do that. But we've got to work, okay, there's strategies to help us cope with emotions day to day and cope with things and to get on the other side. But we've got to realise, ultimately, this can make us stronger if we want it to. If we wanted to, it can make us stronger. It can make us become more. It can make us live a lot more rich life. Because in order to have such a colourful life that, that is amazing, and so many make great experiences, there can be great downs and great ups. Because if we're always up, if you're always at this level, guess what? You're straight. Guess what? You're neutral. But if you go up and down, up and down, up and down, guess what? The ups will feel like ups. But in order for the ups to feel like ups, in order for you to feel like you're on top of the world, you have to feel like going down. You have to know what it feels like going down. But if you're always on top, if you're always on top of the world and going on a straight line top of the world, you're in a neutral position. You don't feel as amazing all the time. But if you go up and down, the highs feel so much more higher. And now the downs don't have to be like a heartbreak. It doesn't have to be like something something like happens with your dyslexia, we can make fun of you. A down can be like, okay, let's work. I'm going to delay this gratification for now and decide to work, decide to do these hard things, because once I've done the hard things, I can have the gratification, I can enjoy myself, and the enjoyment feels so much more better, feels so much more stronger. Anyway, guys, I'm kind of out of time. I hope we gathered a lot of information out of this. And anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode, and have a good day and conquer your dyslexia.